Hi, welcome back. This is called the Chord Change Exercise. Now the way that this works is you're taking two chords that go well together, or that you think go well together, or that just, in the context of a song go together, and the idea is to be able to move between them. And so this is the quickest way to be able to train the fingers to play the one chord shape and rebuild and move to the next chord shape. And again, this is just through isolation. So you're going to do, for instance, and this is our starting one, the pattern that I want you to do, is an E major to an A major. And the way that this works is that you're going to form your E major shape, and you should actually be doing this exercise once you're already familiar with building the chord shapes. It just makes it a little bit easier unless you're a very ambitious personality. Totally cool. You want to be able to already know where your fingers are going for the chord shapes. So if you know enough to be able to say, okay, E chord, and your fingers can build that E chord, then you're good to go on this. So the way you would do this exercise then is get yourself a little timer. I use the timer on my phone. You can use a little egg timer or even plug in for your computer or something. The idea is you need some sort of device that just times just a 1 minute is all you're going to do. Is you're going to set it for 1 minute, and you're going to see how many times you can go in between chord shapes. So for instance, we're going to use an E chord and an A chord for this. So you should be familiar with both of those. So what we're going to do is, as you begin, get your fingers all lined up on the E, and you can test it. And then get your hand free, your picking hand or whatever. If you're holding the pick, use one of your other fingers to press the button on the timer or whatever. And as soon as you click that, strum, and if everything sounds good, that counts as 1. So you want to say it out loud as 1. And if you don't count out loud, it's very likely you'll get lost as you do this, just because of the concentration involved and things like that. And you don't want to get to 55 seconds into it and then forget where you were. So the idea is to go 1, say it out loud so you heard yourself say it, and then you're going to switch to A. You're going to let go of E, you're going to build A as quickly as you can, and then strum down A. 2. Then you're going to let go back to E. 3. And you're going to count how many times in 1 minute you can play these chords, and you always alternate between the chords. So that's the general idea. Now there's a leeway of 1 string, I say, in the beginning stages that can sound not quite so perfect. In other words, it's a little bit buzzy. We're not shooting for perfection yet. And now if you can get everything perfect, good, that's the goal down the road. But just make sure that your fingers are all in the proper shape. And that's important. I mean, you do need to trust your ear. If you're getting something like that and it's supposed to be an E major, that doesn't count. So you have to make sure you know these chords comfortably. You should be getting every string ringing, or we're looking for, say, 90% accuracy. On the A chord, same thing. As you're strumming down, say that first finger, which is always kind of an issue because it's a little far back. Say that isn't perfect. Well, as long as it's on the right fret, I personally am okay with that, because your hands are still gaining strength, and by doing this they'll get stronger, and then the chords will get cleaner too. So very important though to make sure you are playing the right shape. You have to trust your ear on that. So you want to go back and forth between them, go as fast as you can, accurately, but make sure that everything is ringing clearly, that you're doing the exercise correctly. And what you're going to do is, at the end of the minute, you're going to take that total and you're going to write it down on a piece of paper and make a little chart, and do this every time you practice. Okay, you want to go back and forth. Just do 1 minute on these chord changes, on the E chord and the A chord. And you're going to log your progress as to how well you did that day. And you're going to write, like a little column, and you'll put, the top will say date, and then going across, those would be the dates, and then all on, going down, it'll say like what the chord was, like E to A, and then underneath, as we increase the amount of chords we're dealing with, it might be A to D, and then you have your A to D section, and you can keep track of how many A to D moves you did in 1 minute. So that's how you're going to do this exercise. It really speeds up the learning process for the fingers, the muscle memory, and just being able to get from shape to shape. Very important with guitar playing